I can't, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, good morning, everybody. I think you got to
Morning.
mute everybody too.
Oh, yay. I'll do all of
As
that.
much as we want to talk to everybody.
But I don't want to mute you. And there you went. You went muted. See? I'm gonna ask to unmute you now.
I got it. Yeah. I'm still
Okay.
talking. You can't hear a word I'm saying.
I
Yeah.
know. That's my fault. It's because I should have mute on oh, I did. I put mute all upon entry.
Yeah.
It's been a while since
Hi,
we've done
Martha.
the Zoom, y'all. It's
It's a headache.
well, I've been using Google Meets, but it's been a
Hi,
night
Emily.
lately, and so I'm happy
No, Zoom is fine.
that we could
Like
get
I said last night in the text, why don't they offer individual educator discounts?
Yeah, they
You
should.
know? Good morning, Amanda, Iowa. Is it cold in Iowa?
I wish it were colder here.
I hope there's a New Yorker in there. I'm flying there on Monday. I need to know what to wear. I mean, I'm probably just going to go full on hoodies until Thanksgiving, but good morning, Jane.
Good morning. I know it's kind of early depending on where you're coming
Yeah,
from.
thanks for everybody for jumping on this early. We really truly did try for later, but couldn't
Didn't
get
work
it.
out. Didn't
Good
work
morning.
out.
Oh, Kansas, North Carolina.
Yeah.
Yeah, a couple minutes.
Yeah.
Nashville. I've never been there. I've driven through there. Curled up with a blanket, 36 feels, I kind of
Awesome.
want, oh, hi, Maureen. I kind of want that cold just snap to come through to get rid of like the germs and then
Yeah.
go back to like 50.
Yeah.
Oh, upstate New York. Where, Lori, in upstate? Passing through New Braunfels right now. That's awesome.
That's where I am.
Wave, she might be driving by. No, not by your
Well, there's
house.
also like New Boston, so I don't know if that's who she means, but
No,
yeah,
she said hi from Texas passing through NB. So maybe
yes,
she.
we have a
Oh,
yeah.
Saratoga. I know it. I was born
Oh,
in
it's
Ithaca.
Abby. That's my friend.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Oh,
I
I was.
see Abby. I don't see last names, so yay.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah. Well, it depends on how everybody signs in.
Yeah, if that's how you put your name
Woo,
in.
Washington. Wow. So you're 6 o'clock in the morning, you rock star. Hello, Christina. Where in New York? I'm dying to know. Oh, Carroll, Oklahoma, Virginia. I like Virginia. It's pretty. Okay, keep going. We're on Long Island. I was raised in Northport.
All right. It is 8 o'clock on the nose.
Yep. We ready to start?
Yeah, you go ahead and get us kicked off here. I'll watch the
Okay.
entry.
Well, like I said, good morning, everybody. Look at all the places. Oh, what Texans. Oh, East Meadow. Sorry. I had to jump back in. Welcome, everybody. We're so glad you're here. Well, for us, it's early, though. I saw Washington. It's even earlier. We are running the Librarian Starter Kit. We were trying to figure out what is something that we could help librarians who may be new or maybe looking for other programming ideas to get things going. You can go to the next slide. And that's the link, right? Wait.
Sorry,
Oops.
I clicked on your thing. I gotta
Uh-huh.
be careful on that.
I know.
Yeah, so this is the bit.ly if you want to take it, and everything that we're talking about is linked where you can make a template copy in Canva. So if you're not in Canva, we're going to highly recommend that that's where you
Get in there.
start, because
There's the link. Hopefully I typed it right.
yes, yeah, so that's the bit.ly. We'll also have it on the last slide too. So
yeah. Okay. So I am Deb Zeman. I am a middle school librarian in Dallas-Fort Worth area. My God, this is my 8th year in the library. I feel like I've been in here longer. I'm all about ed tech, as you can see. Yes, Canva is like our go-to for creating presentations. You can find me out on all the socials at Zbrarian. Changed that about 2 years ago because I was like, no, I want to just be something different. And then here's my friend.
all right. Good morning, everybody. My name is Amanda Hunt. I go by the Next Gen Librarian on social media. And like Deb said, we are so excited to share all of the things that we use throughout a school year. And so we're going to take you month by month. And one of the things that this is something that like Deb and I do, like it's like something's coming up. What are you doing for this holiday? What are you doing for this month? And so we thought, why not share it with all of our librarian friends? So like we said, everything on there, you make a copy of it in Canva. You can edit it how you wish. If you have any
Yes.
questions, please reach out to us. But this is our contact info. We'll also have it on the last slide too.
Yep. So again, like Amanda was saying, our mission is to give you examples that you can use each month. Is it everything we do? Heck no, because then this thing would probably be about 6.5 hours long, and you don't want to listen to us for 6.5 hours. So it's anything from elementary and higher. You can adapt, you can make it fit into your program. You'll walk away with at least a year's worth, if not. And I'm going to be showing you in a little bit where you can house all this stuff so you don't lose it, because that was one of the things when Amanda and I, about, was it a year or two ago, we did something for the library roundtable for Texas, and we called it Months of Modules. And I think we have like 165 resources, and that was 2 years ago. So we can only imagine how big it is. And we are going to be updating that and maybe hopefully adding it later to this presentation.
Yeah,
and again, yes, it aligns with all the standards. There's ISTE standards, librarian standards, you got it all.
Yeah, so for those of you that are trying to stay in line with the AASL state standards, this will definitely fit in with all of that.
Yes. So back to school, we all sit there and go, what do we need? What do we need? Well, we have our librarian's menu, which I believe I got from my friend Martha, who's down there in the chat somewhere.
Well, I don't know how it is because I'm hearing them through the headphones.
Got it, muted.
Anyway, I was like, what was that?
Yeah, sorry.
Go ahead. Anyway,
go ahead.
So we have this menu here. I got this from Martha, and I just fixed it to make it what I do. Because is everybody the same? Absolutely not. We all do different things. Some of us are that true ed tech librarian where we're going to be doing all the ed techy stuff, whereas some of us do a mix and some of us do a little. It all depends on your comfort level. So I don't know, Amanda, if you can just go to on that little menu, you might be able to click the arrow so they can see the second.
Oh, yes.
Page.
Okay. Yeah. Got it.
So in there, I say all the different things because, we all get stuck doing that lamination and poster making. And so we all have to learn to say, you'll get it on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And there's a 24-hour to 48-hour period of turnarounds. Leave me alone. I don't just do lamination and posters. When ELA classes are coming in, and because I have over 50 ELA classes, I had to put them on a rotation. So I told them that. And then PLCs meet in the library. So I designated times, which is good for me because then I'm able to pair up with the different departments, and it gives them a space to meet in too. And then I threw on the loyalty card, which we'll talk about, I think later is in the thing. And then we have Shannon Miller McClintock's famous checkout counter, which she originally created in slides. I texted her and said, can I put this in Canva? And she's like, yep. And so there it is. It's in Canva. It's the template link, and you can go ahead and you can make it for yourself, make your colors. And the thing again I love about this is it's live. So whenever I update it in Canva, boom, it's on my library Canvas course. Of course, I always have to remember because I'm not always remember, like, no, I don't have 5 checkouts. I have 7,500. So that's just part of August. And then we got Amanda on the next slide.
Yeah, with the daily counter, I have my librarians that are in first period take care of that because, like Deb said,
smart.
It's a struggle for me to remember to do that every single day. So that's one of their duties that they have to do to open the library. And we have like a physical one. So that's the one they're opening. But yeah, I'd love to move to the digital one. So at the beginning of this school year, I had a lot of librarians reaching out asking for what I do for orientation, because last school year in 2022, I had done a whole blog. Oh no, 2021. I had done a whole blog with ideas. And I wanted to make sure that I stayed on top of that because I do still get a lot of librarians saying they liked the ideas that I had put out. Like we do a Family Feud game one year, and that one's really fun. And then there's like a goose chase option. So there's lots of different ways that you can get the library kicked off with your students when they start coming in for checkout, and how to learn the rules of your library. And so in addition to the orientation ideas, I also wanted to share what I'm doing with my staff. We'll talk a little bit more about toilet talks. It's a real easy way to share all of the different technology that you use that teachers may not know about. And then I also wanted to share just some resources, including Martha's loyalty card, which, yes, we will discuss in a second, just because it has been such a hit at both of our campuses, and something that was a lot of fun. That was super easy, that I can't believe, like what a great idea that ended up taking off. So these are just some of the things that I put out there, and every single one of them is linked. If you wanted to take a look at that, you are welcome to do so. But it's just a great way to kick off the year when we have all of these professional development days, that they are looking for ideas and planning. It's like once school starts and you're throwing ideas at, they're like, I don't have time for that. But before school starts, that's when a great time to hit them is.
Yeah. So what I did is I threw this in here just like 5 minutes before we got on. What I created in Wakelet, and everybody knows I'm a Wakelet girl. A couple years ago, when I was getting ready at the beginning of the year, I'm like, okay, I have all these crazy ideas. Why don't I just put it somewhere? Well, we all know Wakelet is the one-stop shop to saving things. So I created I did the months of modules, what Amanda and I call it, where I can just dump everything in there. Does it mean that I'm going to be using it? No, but I can rotate. So like last year I did International Dot Day. This year I did a different program. Now I know I can go back to Dot Day next year. I don't want to, beat a dead horse or whatever and keep doing the same. The kids always like something new. So the other thing is, I also thought, you know what? This is a great place to put every single thing that I did in case I miss it in my newsletter for when I'm sitting doing my final review with either my director or my principal. And so when my principal was like, okay, so what did you do? Here, go click on that link. And here's every single thing I did by month. So I have August, September, October, etc. I put the stats in there. I put every single picture. I'm always walking around with my phone, taking pictures of the kids and what they're doing and what their projects were in the library. And they can see, wow, you really are doing anything. We're not just sitting there and checking out books, So I threw the template is the one that's on the right, where you can make a copy in Wakelet, make it yours. And then the one in the middle was my year in review from last year, where you can see everything from August to May for us that don't do September to June. Yeah. And then on the left side is the Student Ambassador Program, which I helped co-write for Wakelet, which I'm using with my middle schoolers right now. They'll be the first ones in our district as middle schoolers to be Wakelet ambassadors, but it's also getting them started on their digital portfolio. And in there's a reflection journal that you can have the kids reflect on each task. It is all laid out. It's all ISTE standards. Everything you need is right there. So if you have library ambassadors like Amanda and I do, this is a great way to get to know them, because that's the very first thing they do is meet the ambassador. But B, get them started on that digital portfolio, because your resume is your promise. Your portfolio is your proof. So those are just a couple of things that I threw in there for August.
I love that. And then, so here is also something I did. I think this was a couple of years ago, but I was getting a lot of questions, and yes, I could have made a Wakelet. And so that's something that I can do, but this is just like a graphic that has everything linked. And, it's also a good reminder for me. So when the year starts, it's been a while since, we were in August. And so that way, when I can hop in there, I can be like, oh, what did I do this time last year? And it also has things that I can edit and add. And then things I get from other people. This T-Slack passive ideas, that was obviously not from me. I got that from T-Slack. And it's passive program is something that I wish I could do better at. And it's something that I want to do better at. So having that as a reminder is great for me when I'm setting goals. And for us, in our district, we have to go into our management system and set at least 2 goals for our year. And that's definitely a great reminder of things that I want to do better at and ways that I want to improve. Then I kick off the year with my library ambassadors. I call them just library aides. For me, it is a class that kids come to, and I think for Deb as well.
Same.
Last month at AASL, Q the librarian and I presented on library ambassadors, and this was our presentation. So if you do have library aides or you want to implement a program, I presented it from as a class point of view, and she presented it from a volunteer program point of view. So that whole lesson, or presentation, is there for you guys to go back through if you are looking for ideas. But this is the time that we kick off that program with our kids, because they are starting, and for some of them there are returners, but for a lot of them it is brand new, and they don't know my expectations. And so for us to have all the things to go through is really a great way to kick off the year. And then by now, my students are amazing. I was gone this last week for a leadership training, and they ran the library. It was chef's kiss, y'all. So if you take the time to really train them and kind of treat them in that adult role with responsibilities and things like that, it's totally worth it. And for those of you that don't have an adult assistant, it's 100% something that you can implement in your library, and you can get a lot of work out of those kiddos.
Okay, so speaking of International Dot Day, when I did this last year, I went out onto YouTube. There's a reading of the actual Dot Day book by Peter Reynolds. And so I showed it to the kids, and then we walked through, discussed the book, and then I gave every single one of them a make your mark. I just made it in Canva, I think I did it. And then I was like, make your dot. Go ahead and go crazy. I had over 850 dots all over my library, just spread out. I don't know if I linked the video or not. I can link it. I took a TikTok and just walked around and did it. I even had somebody out from the district like, what in the world? I'm like, well, they all made their mark, and the kids loved it. And I actually kept it up for a good 3 or 4 months till I needed to like decorate for Christmas, holidays, and everything. But again, that's a simple programming that you can do with all your kids. And it's like empowering them and giving them student voice and choice. How do you want to make the dot? I honestly had kids that said, can I just put a dot in the middle? Doesn't matter what color? Okay. Dot, wrote their name, and I said, here you go. And I gave them the stapler, and I let them hang it up wherever they wanted. So simple.
I love that. And it's so like unique, right? Because there won't be any dots that are exactly the same, which I think is so great, and also the point. This year when I did orientation, I did just a basic Canva all about me situation, and it actually took 2 classes because I break it up, because most of the time, the first time they come, especially my little 6th grade babies, they are so excited to be in a secondary library, and they want to go explore, especially since my library is genreified and they haven't had that experience in elementary. And so for them to be able to sit and listen for a long time to me talk about stuff that really isn't applicable to them quite yet is rough. So I do split my orientation in half. And then when they come the second time, because I do want to give them lots of time to check out, when they come the second time, that's when I really hit home all the apps that they need, how to search in Destiny Discover, which is what we use in our district for our card catalog system, our LMS. And so it's definitely a fun way to do it, but not as fun as like, Family Feud. So if you're in the mood for that feeling, feel free to go through some of those other presentations and hit the ground running with that. And then, because if you have been living under a rock, you may not know, but there's this girl named Taylor Swift that my teens are obsessed with. And so I decided to do a bracelet making makerspace pop-up event this year. And it was highly sought after event. You would have thought I was trying to sell tickets to the girls' concert. Like, it was a very, very popular thing. And it was so popular that I definitely need to revisit it and do another one, because I did buy enough bracelet making stuff to last a couple of events, but it was a lot of fun. And I just made that in Canva. So if you don't have an educator account, make that your number one priority to do today. And then this was a way to do orientation with stations. And I got that from our friend Zinnia. And so I just thought it was really cool. It's already done in Canva, and you can just put up the different stations throughout your library.
Yeah. I'm laughing at the bracelet making because, yeah, they don't like Taylor Swift. So I just made it the one word bracelet. Had about 15 kids come, and I really need to learn Spanish. It's terrible. And I had about 3 or 4 of our ELL girls. Oh my God, the amount of beads that they took. I was like, wait, one bracelet per person. So
Yeah.
I really definitely want to do that in the spring and link it to something that might be happening in the spring. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Maybe during library month. I don't know.
Yeah.
So here's mine. I did the same thing where I did an orientation, but then again, I got smart thanks to Q the librarian. And I was like, okay, I cannot repeat this 50 times. She looked at me and she's like, dude, you know, you can present and record at the same time. So what would take 40 minutes and no time for checkout, I literally was able to say everything I wanted to say in 8.5 minutes, went through this whole thing and done. And I get, you know, as you click, you can click through fast, like what my expectations are, where the genres are, you know, because I want them to understand it's like a book store. And then just all my expectations throughout the year, talked about the loyalty card. And then I'm a stickler with this. No ID, no book checkout. I have a circulation desk sign, and then I worked with the ESL liaisons, and I got it in Spanish too, which I need to add in because they
That's
just don't
awesome.
understand check in, check out. So now it's borrow and return. So
Yeah,
you know, and then I
kids in
just do the
English don't understand
vocabulary.
that. Yeah,
Mhm.
kids
Yeah.
in English don't understand. Check
No,
in,
they
check
don't.
out.
I'm like, are you taking it or are you
Are
returning
you
it?
returning it?
So, and then I just have the vocabulary. And then one of our Texas librarian friends, punk rock librarian, she does with her high school kids, weekly vocabulary, word of the week on Wednesdays. So I want to start doing that in the spring. Okay, here's what renew means. Here's what this means. So,
Yeah,
and then
I
of
love
course,
that.
you know, advertising. You can
Yes.
go to the next one. October. Okay. Oh, this is me. Yeah. So it's the month of the scaries and the Halloween. In all, posting my first 9 weeks stats. I take them in Canva, make them in Canva, and I change it every year. I mean, if you go in, you see, wait, it doesn't look like it did in 21, 22, 22. And that's what I love. I'm like, you know, let me jazz it up, but I keep the school colors. That's what I'm all about too. So you'll see in that little Canva, like you'll see all my stats. I do my quarterly stats, and then I do the contests because those kids, oh my God, if you can give them candy, they are happier than clams. So I'll do the how many candy corns in a jar. I go to the dollar store. I get the little dollar ball jar mason jars. I do too. Plunk them on the desk. I count out all the candy corns. And that most hysterical thing is, so where'd you get the jars? The store. What brand candy corns did you buy? Candy corns. Because they're trying to figure out, okay, if I go to the store, they're doing math. How many bags do you think actually fit in this? How many ounces is the jar? I don't know. So I let them guess. They only get one, and whoever gets closest without going over, they win. And I mean, really, these things fit maybe 300 or 400. These kids are guessing 3,000. I'm like on the floor. And then I do the Team Tober, which is big, the Ghost and Pumpkin character challenge. Here's a ghost, here's a pumpkin, draw a character's face. And some of the stuff I get is just absolutely incredible. Of course, I totally fell off and didn't give winners. So the people that submitted, I may just give them a little prize or something like that. But that's just a fun thing to do in October.
Yeah, and the candy corn thing, I actually do that during my book fair. So it's just another little event you can do to increase kids coming in.
Oh yeah, there we go.
So October's pretty packed. That's why I have like a million things on this page, because there's like a lot happening, right? We have spooky season. It's breast cancer awareness month. It's anti-bullying month. So it's a lot happening. So I just went through things that I had done this year. Our friend Karina, this is her character pumpkin decorating contest page. Feel free to edit that. My friend Books with Brit, she did Tweentober, because yes, we do have teens on our campus, but for the most part, they are tweens, which I really like. And then I made this lesson up. We do like restorative justice on our campus with like character counts, and in our advisory time, we do circle time. And so I was trying to come up with a lesson to do for anti-bullying month. And so if you've ever seen the Take One Step challenge on YouTube, you should totally Google that if you haven't. I wanted to make that for bullying so that they could see some of the things, some of their actions and how they are affected. And it's just a great visual for them to see how far or close they are to their friends. And so that one was fun to do. And then this is something that like we got from our friend Melissa Corey. If you haven't ever seen all of the things that she's done for If You Like This, Then Read This. And we edit it. So whatever's popular. So over the summer I Turned Pretty was a big deal again. And then XOXO Kitty. So what we do is we edit these are my school colors that I use. Deb's are the maroon and gray. And we change it out, and we use our own library collection to add these titles, right? So I go into my LMS and I search different books that I think would match if you are a fan of this show or of this movie or something that's coming out soon. I just did one for Scott Pilgrim because that's about to drop on Netflix. So it's just to kind of keep them. And then we have the flip books in the library. I have one mounted to the wall, and I have two that are on stands over by our computers that you search at. And so if they are struggling to find a book, they can be like, "Ooh, I love Ted Lasso," or "Ooh, I love, whatever thing is popular right now." And or if they like manga, I have some for My Hero Academia. And so it's just a great way to put some different books in front of them that they may not have seen before.
And then, you can partner up with someone too. Like Amanda will be like, "Okay, give me an idea." And I'm like, "Well, I saw this is coming." Boom, I can take the link and then just tweak it to fit my collection, which is wonderful. So that's something you definitely want to do, is partner up with somebody. And it doesn't have to be somebody in your district. It could be, Amanda's 5 hours away from me. Her kids are different than mine, but they all kind of seem to read the same stuff and like the same stuff.
Yeah, especially because she and I are both middle school. I can't remember if we said that or not. So that's helpful to know. But yeah, and then at the bottom, I do mood reader boards, and I don't necessarily have all of these books in my library. These are just suggestions for librarians or educators that are wanting to add more titles to their collections. And so I definitely like doing those because I can give recommendations, and it also helps me keep current with my collection of books that I want to purchase to increase reading in my school. And then over here on this side, you'll notice that I do my stats, and that's how I kind of did them this year. Again, just like Deb, mine change every year of the lookout, the layout, but the information is typically the same, except this year we added the loyalty stamp card. So I wanted to share those statistics as well. And they are great to share on social media to let everyone know, what you're doing in your library matters, but also to share with your stakeholders. So your principal, your admin, your teachers,
parents.
Yes, parents. Yes.
Yeah.
Put that out there so they know.
Yeah. And then again, these are just, here we are, November. Amanda did the Veterans Day. I took it. I had most of the same titles. I just took out some and added some other ones. But then what I also do I have for Texas, part of the, not law, but it's in there, whatever. It's called Recognition Days for all the holidays that Texas recognizes. So I have this massive, what's called space, where I have all the collections for all the holidays that are recognized. And again, that's what I love about Wakelet. It's live, so I can change out links and resources, and I share it with the teachers. I put it out I'm the webmaster, so I put it out on our Facebook and Twitter for our school and our website. And oh, here guys. And like Amanda was saying before, those display racks are key. Those I've never seen kids use them more this year than last year. And they're just flipping through. I had a little girl come in and she's got a book on hold. And I said, it hasn't come in yet. Do you want an idea? She's like, no. Walked over to the table and started flipping through. And it's like, well, do you have this one? I'm like, come on. And I showed her. So they really are using them and I'm constantly switching them out. And the thing that I really like too is I take them, the Rex, and I put them in a Wakelet and I link it and I share it in the Canvas course. So it might be updated this year, but there may have been a book from last year. A kid's going to remember and go, you had this one. I'll go look at the collection. So there's ones that you can use to just here, this is what's going on this month. And here's a holiday. And I do it for like everything, Black History Month, Women's History Month. There's so many. I don't think I linked that one in there. So
honestly, there's so many days. Like if you ever go to that website that says how many, like today is hamburger day or whatever, like honestly, you could just, it's never ending of the different ones that you could make. But one thing I do want to say is it's for, I think a lot of time, those kids that don't feel comfortable coming up to you. I'm on a 3-week rotation with my classes. And so there's some kids that I only see a couple of times of the year when they come with their RLA class. And so if they don't feel comfortable like coming up and asking me for a recommendation, I have a book recommendation form that is linked in my Canvas. If they tell me a little bit about what they like to read, then I check out books that I think they might enjoy. They don't like them, turn them in, fill the form out again, and we can do it over and over. And if you ever want that, I can share it. It's just a Google form. But one of the things that I think is great about these forms is that it lets those kids that aren't very verbal or potentially are emerging bilingual students, it gives them that opportunity to still find books that they're interested in while also not feeling like they have to go and talk to the adults in the room that they may not know yet. Right. So in November, I like to do turkey bingo, and I only call it turkey because that's the time of year I do it. So it's not like it's Thanksgiving themed, other than there's a little turkey in the top corner. You can call it whatever you want. But if you go to, if you click on this, it'll take you to the blog that I wrote about it and like how you can edit it and change it. And I linked everything in there for free because I do feel I just came up with this idea to just be able to read out the descriptions of books and have kids try to figure out which book I'm talking about that's on your bingo card. And so then it gives a bunch of recommendations. You wouldn't believe how many kids run up to me after and they're like, oh my gosh, the one that was Maze Runner, can you show me where that is? Like, it's a great way to introduce books to kids through kind of book talking it while you're playing bingo. And then again, it's Indigenous Peoples Month. So this is one that I had done last year, maybe. And it is also linked in here if you wanted to go through and take a look.
Then we hit Christmas time. And I will say I am one where I have such a diverse demographic that I don't just do Christmas. So when we get back, I have wrapping paper. I have snowflake wrapping paper that I'm going to put on the end caps, So I was like, all right, what is something that I can do where it recognizes everyone? Well, everybody knows snowflakes. So I had all the kids cut snowflakes up and it looked like it exploded snow in my library. It was the front windows. It was my office window. It was the front of the library window. It was everywhere. And the kids just loved it. And kids you did not think would pick up a pair of scissors and a white piece of paper. They went wild. Can I do another one? Can I do another one? Can I do? Yeah, okay. So we did that one. And then this was one I did a couple of years ago. I'll probably do it again. It's the elf yourself. And it's a link to the elf name generator. What's your elf name? And I have the kids create their elf name. And then I'm always like, go create it in Canva, because then they have all those fantastic Christmas gnomes that you can pull over. And I'm always saying, whatever you do, better be school appropriate, because I'm going to delete it. And that's why I always make sure when I click on this, it's like, okay, it's safe for kids. It's not like, sparkle panties or something really bad. So you can just click on there. And then of course I had to stick together. Who doesn't love stick together? I happen to have the snowflake one. And when they finished, their kids were like, wait, did you do that on purpose? I said, mm-hmm. So yeah, just another fun thing to do in the holidays to recognize everybody.
Yeah, and they do virtual stick togethers too. So
Yeah.
yes, if you don't have the wall space, like I have with this weird rock wall that you can't hang anything on. So for me, the virtual ones are a lot of fun to do with classes. I hit Hour of Code really hard in December, just because I've been doing it for 15 years now, I think. And it's just something that I'm really passionate about because I really like to see more females in our coding, on our math and our science STEM tracks, because in 8th grade in Texas, they have to choose what they want to do with the rest of their lives, which I think is really crazy, but it's one of the bills that passed several years ago. And so some of these kids like really likes math and science, and they don't quite know how to translate that into a career. So using code.org is a great place because it's free. It comes with like a multitude of lessons that you can do if you have time to actually like teach full-on lessons. And then this year they're doing artificial intelligence, which I cannot wait to do. There is one, it's like Draw Me. I played with it yesterday because I'm going to do this lesson when we get back from Thanksgiving. And it tells you draw a cat. And so like I'm drawing the cat, and they're like, I think it's and it's guessing until you finally finish it. And they're like, oh, it's a cat for sure. And so I thought it was really cool because it's showing kids how AI is going to be a thing in their world as they start to grow up, and how it can learn very, very quickly, which I thought was really cool. So code.org is a great resource if you haven't ever used that before.
I'm gonna have to steal that. So then comes January, and you know how we all get nuts because all the books are overdue. Kids aren't turning them. Returning them. They're forgetting the rules. They're forgetting the expectations. So I created the reorientation. It's time for us to reflect on all the things about the library. And so I did it in English, and then I worked with one of the ESL teachers, and one of my library ambassadors last year was dual language. And so she and I sat together and we did it. And I just was like, I gave it to the ESL teachers and I said, would you please play this and go through it with the kids? And it did make a little bit of difference, for like 5 minutes, and then it was just out the window. But it's like a good refresher to do at the beginning of the year to remind kids, look, these are my babies, and if you abuse them, mama's not going to be happy. And they just look at me like I'm crazy, but it's true. I'm like, these are my kids. Would you like me to come to your house and mess your room up? And they all just look at me. I'm like, exactly. So it's just a quick thing that I do when I get back, and I may just be updating it again.
And then obviously I was talking about my virtual stick together before. In January, I think it's fun to have like, I guess it's more like Zen time. And because we're back in a swing of things that a lot of us don't really want to be back in. We're still in our pajamas at home in that mindset. Yeah. So I do like to come back with something a little more calm to ease into it. So virtual stick togethers can be a lot of fun. It can be calm, or you can set it as a challenge and see how fast you can get one done. And then they get real competitive with it. So it's up to you on how you want to do that. But then obviously, like last year I did hashtag one word. I've been doing that for years. I have a coworker of mine that we always try to like challenge each other with what our word is going to be. And my word last year was consistency. And so I shared that with the kids, and we turned it into a lesson where they had to come up with their own word, the definition, and then they had to set some goals of what they thought they could do with that word. So it's not even anything I made like a lesson for. They could use whatever graphic design program they wanted to, Adobe, Canva, Bunsy, whatever they wanted to do to put together a visual representation, and then they shared it with me. I have an Apple TV in my library that just runs on a loop, and then I just shared them out with the world without the kids' names on them. It was just literally like this kind of graphic, and it was just a reminder for them throughout the month to kind of be thinking about that one word and being intentional with it. And then obviously I love me some thrillers. So this is just an idea of one that I put. And like I said, I have these on the Apple TV as well. So it's another place kids can go to get recommendations if they don't want to like actually walk up and ask me, because some of them don't. And so that's something that I also have linked in their Canvas as well. So they can go back and look at that later.
And then we come to February. February is Black History Month, so I have a collection in Wakelet that I share with the teachers, with all different, whatever the theme is, that's how I fix it or adapt it. So last year was the freedom fighters. So I go in and I put all the ones that they recommend on the, I think it's blackhistorymonth.org or something like that. And I make these posters and I actually print them out and I put them in the windows of the library. Plus I have this playing in Canvas, my Canvas course. I link it, I share it with the history teachers. And it's just something, you know, here's what's happening. Here's the month, along with on the right, like I was saying, the Wakelet with all kinds of things the teachers can do in the classroom, not just history classes, but English classes and science. And then I have the Valentine selfie challenge. You know how these kids love to take selfies. Oh my God, they were walking down the hallway as they were leaving yesterday doing that. And I'm just like, why are you taking a selfie with your fingers in front of your face? It makes no sense. So I've created a whole bunch of them. One of them is the Valentines. And again, it's a challenge because they really, one, they have to read, but two, they really have to think about it. And then what I tell them is, okay, now you got all these pictures, go into Canva, create a graphic, create something that represents all this. And then they get entered into drawing. This year, who was it you who got it, right, Amanda, the prize wheel?
Yes.
Yeah. Instead of, well, you know, okay, what do you want? And I'll go buy it. No. Amanda got the idea of getting the prize wheel, which she got at IKEA. I ordered it off of Amazon, and now I have it filled with 14 different things. And I've given away a book. Kids got candy. Some are bookmarks. We give away what's called buckaroos, where they can collect these green dollars and then exchange them at the school store. So it's a, you know, here, look, what can you do? And you're getting creative and it's student choice. So just, you know how when we get to January, February, it's that like drag until spring break. So let's do something fun and challenging.
And then it's funny because when we were putting these together, I actually had Deb's Black History Month posters on mine. I'd forgotten I got them from her. So that's another one of those things that like we collect from each other and we share with each other so much that I just love that. So yeah, this is something I got from Allie Lauer. And it is another choice board, which I love, that has to do with Black History Month, but you can take it and adapt it for any month that is a honoring a different heritage or group of people. Here's another mood reader board for Valentine's Day and Black History Month. I have several for this in different genres and different age groups, because there are so many great books out there that I wanted to share. And then I've done blind date with a book. It's rate your date. So it's basically they are, you know, unwrapping a book or taking it out of a gift bag and they're doing a little bit of time with it, you know, 5-ish minutes to see if that's something that they would want to read, and then they rate it. And so it kind of speaks to their language. A lot of them know, you know, what Tinder is and that whole thing of the immediate attraction and being a big deal in our culture and society. And being like right off the bat, they are totally judging a book by its cover or by its little description. And so I thought it was funny to kind of bring that in. And then obviously so many of them want to check that book out. So then you need to have replacements to drop in the bags, or to drop in to rewrap in between classes. And then these are just some quotes that I put on my Apple TV that rotate throughout the month. And then this is a World Read Aloud Day. So sometimes that falls in February. Sometimes I want to say sometimes it's in March, but it depends. So if you are involved or wanting to do World Read Aloud Day, I highly recommend it. It's just a great day where you can celebrate authors and celebrate readers and books and just all things great. And then just take the day. And there's lots of different activities that are on their website. If you click on that, it'll take you to the World Read Aloud Day website. And if you want to Zoom with an author, if you want to do a Skype or a Google Meet with someone, it gives you a lot of resources on that too. March.
Okay. So there you go. Another one. The Lucky Selfie Challenge. Again, this challenges them to have fun, voice and choice. Also, it's Women's History Month. Well, what I did in this Wakelet collection is I actually, it was, what's his name? The Book Wrangler. He does these fantastic posters. He always gives them out free, which is so wonderful. Well, what I did is based on what he did is I created a collection, and it is all the artists, the authors, scientists, politicians, everybody that he spotlighted. I went and grabbed videos from YouTube, like biography videos and everything. And it's paired with the signage that he created. And I went and I made like, I don't know, 5x7, 5x6, printed them out, and I put them and wrapped them around on my circulation desk. And then I throw this QR code up. Hey, you want to learn more about these women? Click this. And it's good because I'm a STEM school. So these are a lot of women in STEM too. So they're getting that girls in STEM. And it's just I can change this out. If he does a new one, I can tweak it, pull out, or just add them in there. And then there's the Love Your Shelfie. We got this idea. It was Karina's, right?
I think so.
This thing has exploded in my library. My kids absolutely love it. So Karina created the template. And what I do is I have all this signage that somebody posted somewhere, and I went and I tweaked it to fit. And I have it on all my genres. And I tell the kids, take a picture with your favorite book, take a picture with your favorite author, take a picture with your favorite genre. I'll have groups of 4 and 5 girls that do it together. I just had a group of 4 yesterday. The 5th one said, can I do it by myself? I was like, yeah. And I have a laminator here at home, and then I have the little bookmark pouches. Yeah, I was going broke with that one. So my principal bought me a little same laminator and the same pouches. And last year I probably did 50. I've probably done over 100 this year. And it's just the kids love it because it's a piece of them now that they can keep. And I tell them, listen, don't lose it. And sure enough, I've had kids leave them in the books, and I'm able to go back and give it to the teacher and say, hey, they left this in there. And they just have so much fun with it. Like some of the girls, they'll sit there and be like covering their face, but some of them truly, they're with their favorite author. And again, that's another way to also promote reading to kids, because I'll post this in my newsletters. I'll post it in the Canvas course saying, hey, come get your shelfie. So we have a lot of fun with that during the month of March. Again, speeding up to spring break, and then the doldrums of, oh, we're back. We got how many weeks left? So
yeah, I do want to mention in the chat, Jenny, thank you so much for posting that. Connecting with other schools is a huge part of World Read Aloud Day. But also Kate Messner, Beth, nailed it. She is a gift to us all. If you haven't read History Smasher series, I highly recommend it. But also she posts so many lists and resources for World Read Aloud Day. So, and then Becky linked the Book Wranglers website. So yes, thank you so much for his Instagram, because he's amazing too.
Amazing.
Again, with Read Across America, in this particular year, it fell at the end of February, beginning of March. So we got this from our friend Martha, and this is her template that she used, and just kind of highlighting different types of authors or different types of books each day of the week. And then we have some posters from Women's History Month. I like to do displays that are a little bit different in my library sometimes. Like The cover was blue, but I can't remember who the author is, like those kinds of, or I can't remember the title. I like those. And then I also do books with like luck or lucky in the title. And I have that as a, one of those things that I can put as my if you liked then. And so all of that stuff is linked in our bit.ly if you want to go back and look at all the different ones we've done. But one of my favorite ones to do in March is March Madness. And this is not a new idea by any means whatsoever. However, like I said, with my weird walls, I don't have the place in my library to do a physical one. So mine is virtual, and so I put it in Canvas and I do a Google form, and it's a different theme every year. So last year I did genres. The year before it was popular graphic novels. The year before that I did Project Lit. If you aren't familiar with Project Lit, it's diverse and inclusive books that they choose every year to highlight in middle grade and young adult. And so, and then every week of the month of March, the kids just vote, right? And I put the results every week so that they can see who's winning. I made this in Google, but you can do it in a million different ways. But I linked that in there if you wanted to take on something like that, that's very low stress, that I don't have to physically move things around if you don't have the wall space or the time to do that. And this is just something the kids look forward to every year.
I'm
And
gonna
then,
use that.
yes.
I
And
like
then,
that.
yeah, because I feel like March is such a hectic time with getting ready for
Mhm.
testing that we don't have time to do a big thing. So
No.
this keeps it very easy to manage. And then we do this is a book bingo because it says March is the month for reading. So to highlight that, this is something the kids can do. And again, it's passive because they can do it on their own time and in their classes, in their RLA classes, but they get prizes if they do it. So it's just another way to encourage reading.
Then we have April, which we all know is our month, school librarian month, library month. And then we've got, depending on the month, Easter, and then of course, National Poetry Month. So I do a bunch of different things. Obviously, I throw this out there, and in April, National School Librarian Day. And then what I try to do in the mornings, because I not really supposed to have kids in the morning, they have homeroom. But I started giving out little library passes that I made in Canva, and the kids sign their name, and all they do is just show their teacher that they can come. And so what I do is I focus on different things to do each day. Magnetic poetry. I got one of those really inexpensive kits because I have my screen is actually a giant whiteboard where I hang my stick together and I can blast my screen. I'll throw that there. The kids have fun with that. Design a bookmark. You can honestly do this all year long, and the kids absolutely love it. And the two girls that won last year, I made them 10 of their bookmarks each and gave them to them. And I've even seen librarians, when I saw one last night, I think their kids did it and they were giving them out to everybody. I don't think they laminated them. They just printed them, and that's easy enough. You print on cardstock, you get your kids to cut it out. So that's another fun thing to do, to design a bookmark. Blackout poetry, spine poetry, book face, all of those different things. And then of course I always have the jelly bean in a jar contest, which they go nuts for, because I actually ask the kids, what kind of jelly beans do you like? And I'll, I like the Starburst ones. I like the regular ones. So I'll mix it up. And then the other one I got from my friend Brandy Mitchell, who's at a middle school in my district, cut word poetry. I was like, well, there's a job my librarian aides can do, and cut out words from magazines and then create. So that might be something I may do like March, April when we're back, since I'm on such a big rotation. So it's just another fun thing. And, taking ownership. This is their words. This is what they're creating. So
I love the cut word poetry. Now I just got to figure out where magazines are.
I know. I'm like, I don't have magazines. So best thing is partner up with your teachers, or if you're like me and the webmaster, put it out on your Facebook and ask parents to drop them off. But then again, everything's digital. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe I can find. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like how hard
Yeah.
it to find magazines now.
Wow.
But yeah, so with poetry month being in April, I always do different themes around that. So I've done blackout poetry, I've done digital blackout poetry. There is a website for that. And then I've done spine poetry, which you just take different books and the titles make a poem, which I love because then also it brings the books into it and it brings some titles that kids may not have seen before. For school library month, this is a lesson I did last year. Kids love options, right? So with a menu, they got to choose one of the 3 options to do. They could do a book review display for me. They could design a bookmark that would go in our free bookmark thing after they turned it in. And then book face. So book face challenge is so fun to get to see them run around trying to find a cover that they can put in front of their face. And also some kids don't like taking selfies, don't like putting their face in front. So that's a fun one that they can do. And it was just a really big way to highlight all the things that we do as school librarians. And it was a fun lesson for all the kids to just recognize school librarians.
Yeah. And then it's that time of year, at least for us down south, where we got to get the books back. Well, Christina Holzweiss, our host, actually had created shared a timer that you can create. And so right now, because the time is over, it's 0 hours. But this is brilliant because I put it in my Canvas course and I can also blast it on my screen. So whenever kids are coming in, there's that countdown. You have until X amount of day to get that book back. And then I created this last year, just a simple graphic, throw it into your Canvas course, print it out and post it out on your windows and everything about when those books are due. It's just wonderful. So the template, especially for the counter, is in here, and I think it takes you to that website. And what I might do is go back in the presentation and put the actual link where you can create your own countdown, and I just embed it inside the Canvas course, not Canvas course, Canva, and it counts down. It's wonderful.
Love it. Yeah, I used it last year too. It was fun.
Yeah.
And then I do a lot of let's get ready for summer stuff in May. We never go we never go into June.
Well,
So in our
no.
district, it's whether that's before or after Memorial Day, we usually don't go into June at all. So May is spent me trying to collect books, but also doing the final checkout. So very similar to what Deb did. But then also making sure the kids know about our public library and all the programming they're doing over the summer. And then sharing May is also Asian American Pacific Islander month. So I like to share those recommendations, summer reading recommendations. And then manga isn't ever something I have to advertise. That gets taken off the shelf pretty regularly all on its own. But this was something kind of fun that my friend Karina did. She shared it with Deb and I, and it was Exploring Manga Book Challenge. And I ended up doing it in May because that was kind of when we got it from her, I think. So it was kind of fun for my kids that love reading manga. It was a way for them to do kind of like a bingo thing. And so I do want to make sure that they know that they are just as important as all my other readers. Sometimes they feel other, even though manga is so popular. If you're at a middle school or a high school and you have manga, yeah, we always wish that there was way more, right? They could do 150 in a series and they would want every single one. If you're at elementary, the link in my bio, I do have a manga book list for elementary, middle, and high. So if you are looking for more titles that are age appropriate, feel free to take a look at that. But yay for manga because they love to read it. And then as we get into June, like I said, I don't have school into June, but this is something I do like to share, which are these are summer. This is actually not from me. I cannot remember where I got it from, but I did link it and hopefully there's credit in there. But it's book lists for kids to read over the summer, kind of like I said, but it's also Pride Month. So I like to make lists, book lists featuring LGBTQIA+ characters and authors, and different genres and age groups. So I like to share that. And then also It's the time to start thinking about professional development over the summer. A lot of us have like district conferences and things like that. And so I did this presentation at AASL with Q the Librarian, and it was gamifying professional development. So if you want to take a look at that and how you can bring that into your school, your district, feel free to take a look at that. It's a way that's not just sit and get, it makes it fun and interactive for the teachers. And then I use a lot of gamification in the library with my students, but also with my library aides. It's kind of how I get them to work. So if you're looking for more ideas on that, feel free to take a look.
I'm laughing because somebody said back in the chat, when do you sleep? Like,
Yeah.
well, but that's the thing. When you partner up with someone or a couple of people, like with Q, the three of us, we're constantly texting. Like I can go into my text stream and I look at like link. It just share. That's how we get it. I was at a Region 11 conference on Thursday, and one of the librarians, Nicole Graham, was doing a thing on just passive programming. And she's like, I will start off by saying a lot of this stuff is not my stuff. And she was giving credit and just saying, hi, I saw this tweet. I saw this. Pictures that myself and one of my coworkers had put about stick together. I was like, hey, that's us. She's like, yep. So it's just work with someone, partner up, ask us. I mean, we're ones that we're just like, here, what would you like? Like, I'm going to go back after break and say to all my, we have 66 campuses. I'm going to say, here's the thing I presented on Saturday in case you need ideas,
Yeah, we're all about sharing. I feel like that's such
sharing.
a big piece and part of this job is that we cannot do it all alone. And a lot of us are singletons on our campus. So we are the only ones. So we need a community and we need to be supportive of each other. So if you have done a lesson and you want ways to make it even better or you want to share it, please use social media as a tool and a resource and send it to all of us.
Find us. We're mostly on Instagram. That's the one, Twitter X. Thanks, Elon, for screwing that one up. But yeah, just reach out, find us. Yes, we would love to keep going for 5 hours.
5 more hours.
That would be fantastic. But nope, there's another sessions coming up at 8, at 9. What is it? 9 for us,
it's
10 for everybody
9
else.
our time.
8 o'clock the West Coast. But yeah, please reach out to us.
We love helping and collaborating. And then I do want to say throughout this whole thing, keep saying, click on the link, click on the link. If you're watching the recording later, the links are not in the recording. You have to go to the bit.ly. So if you go to bit.ly/Librarian Starter Kit, that's going to be where everything is linked that you can actually click and use the template and edit and make it your own.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. And I just emailed someone too, like, you need to, if it's some reason it's not working, just shoot us a DM somewhere and we can just shoot it on. I just did that with someone and hopefully it worked. So, but thank you all so much for coming. This was a blast.
Thank you. We appreciate you and we'll see
you next time.
In the world. Yeah. Yay. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yes. Have a great break.